Alright, here is question 6. This one has many more premises than the previous questions, but this is actually a pretty easy proof. The conclusion is a conjunction of D and E, right? So we don't have either of those on separate lines, but there is a D right there, and here's an E right here. So what I'm immediately thinking is that because a D is the consequent of this conditional, maybe if I could get C by itself on a line, then I could use modus ponens to get D. And likewise, if I could get not B somewhere, and I see there is a not B right here, right? If I could get not B on a separate line, then I could use that along with line 3 here to get E, right? And then I would have D and E on separate lines, and then I could conjoin those to get the conclusion. So that's just strategically how I'm thinking of this proof. So let's start. A good strategy here with any proof is if you have a line where there's just a simple proposition, non-complex, that is, it doesn't contain any proposition, any truth functional operators, then you should utilize that. So we have here an A. Where can I plug that A in any of the premises? Well, not here, not on line 2, but I can on line 1. So I can use lines 1 and 4 to do a modus ponens to derive the consequent of this conditional. So that's what I'm going to do to start. So that's modus ponens on lines 1 and 4. The next thing to do is I'm going to simplify. I'm going to break these down. So using simplification on 5, I'm going to just break both of them down. I don't necessarily need them both, but it's a good kind of rule of thumb to use because then I've got everything kind of broken down. I can use it if I need it. Okay, so now the question is, where can I use any of these things that I've just broken down to plug back into the proof? And in fact, I can. I can use both of them. Let's start with the not B. I can use that in line 3, and if I do that, then I can derive the E by disjunctive syllogism on lines 3, because line 3 is my disjunction, and line 6, because my line 6 is the negation of the right disjunct. So disjunctive syllogism on lines 3 and 6, that's how E goes. That's how we derived E. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize this C. I'm going to plug that in to our second premise to derive D by modus ponens on lines 2 and 7. Now the only thing I have to do, I have D and E on separate lines, lines 8 and 9. All I have to do is conjoin those together. I'm just going to copy and paste the D and E here. So I can say D and E, that is conjunction on lines 8 and 9.